Hi, I'm Kevin Borgstead, and you're back here with Tai Chi with Kevin. Thought we'd spend a little bit of time today talking about one of the main Tai Chi principles continuous, steady, flowing movement. A lot of times when you're learning Tai Chi, you learn an individual movement and you move and you stop, take a couple seconds. What's my next movement? Was the one I just did perfect? Yeah, maybe not. Hold it a little longer, adjust yourself, and then go on to the next movement. And that's something that you want to do while you're learning things to check your balance, to check your posture, check your body alignment, um, and quite frankly, to remember what it is that you're going to do next. Sometimes you have trouble remembering those movements. But once you get past the mechanics, the thing that you want to work for is that slow, steady, continuous movement. So, what I thought we'd do today is practice some of those things. We're going to use movements that are going to be probably familiar to you. Once we start, we won't stop. We keep going. I might talk a little bit, kind of give you some tips and where we're going next, so that you don't take a left turn when I take a right turn, that sort of thing. But we're going to move. We're going to move together. You'll be able to play this over and over and over again, as much as you like, or only once if you don't like it. And it'll give you a chance to practice that continuous movement. Enjoy. See you back in the studio in just a minute. So, the principle of continuous movement is really pretty simple. You start from a position of stillness, which is what we're going to do, and then you start moving. And all of your movements flow from the first movement to the second to the next one. So let's see how that works. Stand relaxed, feet more or less shoulder width apart. What's comfortable for you, your feet positioned however it's comfortable for you, with your weight centered. You don't want to be leaning forward or back or to the sides. Nice and comfortable. If your hands are out to your sides, palms back, that's what we call the Wu Ji position. It's the empty position. Nice starting point. Palms back, a little bit of space under the armpits, knees bent, sink just slightly, like you're just starting to think about sitting down. Clear your mind. This is a position of stillness. Feel yourself rise up as we start to move and sink down just a little bit. Breathe in as you push up. Breathe out as you sink down. Breathe in and out. There's a little bit of stillness, just a bit, as you hit the bottom or you hit the top before you change movements. It's only for that instant where you feel the potential for a change of direction. But for all practical purposes, it's continuous, nice and slow and relaxed. Let's change this movement. We'll sink down and shift to the side. Shift back to the other side. Still continuous. Feeling the weight shift from one leg to this one, then to the other one. Still upright. Back to the other leg. Not leaning over, shifting my weight. One side to the other. It's not a lot of movement, but it's continuous. Let's come back to center and sink again. This time as we rise, lift the hands. A little bit more movement into the chest and down. You still breathing? Breathe in. Breathe out. You remember how we did that side to side movement? Let's bring that back in. The hands will rise up. We sink down and the hands sway out to the side like a willow tree as you shift your weight from one side to the other. You'll notice we haven't really stopped. We just let each movement drift into the next one. Now we can take this side to side movement, change it around just a little bit. Let the hands float out, up around the front, still side to side, but the arm movement is different. What are we doing? Passing our hands over, checking the heat on the big paella pan that we've been cooking. I don't know if you've ever watched anybody do that, but that's an adventure in itself. Now let's take this circular motion, change it a little bit, still continuous. We'll reach out, pull into the chest as we sway over, step out to the corner, give a little push, rock back, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. One more push. Let the hands drop down. Pull this foot in. Step to the side, sway over here. Pull around into the chest and let's step to the other corner. Push and pull back. Push and pull back. Now there's lots of other movements that we can do. Tai Chi has lots of them. We're going to show you how this continuous movement works first in some yang style movements. The hands drift out, pull that foot back in, step to the side, drift up, make your hook in that yang style single whip. Make the circle around, turn and give a little push. Now, depending on who's been teaching you, there may be some variations in the movement, but it's continuous no matter who does it. You may turn a little bit more, push a little more dramatically, shift your weight differently. The hook hand might be over here, or it might be further back. Push, release the hook, come back around, make a hook on the other side. It's always continuous. Got some repetitions here so you can practice along with me. Now you'll notice when I changed the directions, I did a little transitional movement there. We'll push one more time, release the hook. This hand comes around, and all of a sudden we're waving hands like clouds. I can do this as a transition between single whips if I want. But we didn't stop, did we? It's all continuous. We've got that same side to side. It's almost like the drifting hands that we did before. It's a little different, but the waist is turning more too. But it's all continuous. Now, what happens if we take these hands and drop them right back into our willow tree? Looks pretty familiar, huh? Still continuous. And then we take this hand as we come up this time, step in, reach out, sink down. Still continuous, sink again. Lift, sink, step to the side, brush across, brush knee and push. You've seen this before. We'll sway back, push again. One more time. As you pull back, swing wide. Let that willow tree carry you right over. Sink down over here, back up and down. Step out, brush knee to the other side. Circle around. Now you can alternate these things if you want. So we'll push one more time, then sit back on the back leg, reach out to the other side, brush and push. Seen anything stop yet? Not really. We're changing directions, but it's always continuous. It's real easy to get caught up, maybe get going too fast, so we'll slow down. Still continuous. Now, what if you don't do yang style? Well, I know a lot of people use a lot of the forms that Paul Lam teaches. There are a lot of them pretty heavily based on Sun style. So what happens if you're doing that type of brush knee and push, where you push and you have a follow step and step back, reach out, and there's your follow step. What happens if you wanted to do, remember we did the yang style single whip. What happens if you want to do a Sun style single whip? Well, you start in a different place in Sun style. So we'll sway to the side, lift the hands to the front, open and close. Sway a little bit, step just a little bit, and there's your single whip. And you'd come right into, depending on the form that you're doing, waving hands like clouds. Looks a little different. That's okay. Got that follow step going on, but we never stopped. And we go back the other way so I can get back into the center in front of the camera. Back to the center. Open. Close. Let the hands come down. We'll go back to the sway. Like that willow tree. And I'm going to lift the hands up and around and down in the front. Sinking and rising. It's the same rising, falling hands that we had earlier. Let the hands drop down and we return to stillness where we started. And I'll step back in and we're still. So use that if you want. Practice your continuous movement. If you decide you're good with it, then move on. Try something else. Continue to poke, prod, and explore. If nothing else, have fun with your Tai Chi. Remember, I'm Kevin Borgstead. You've been here at Tai Chi with Kevin. Stop in again sometime. Talk to you later.